We have been witnessing some pretty significant moves happening around altcoin ETFs. However, the biggest issue around ETFs right now is simply the decisions on if they get the green light or not. And the biggest problem with that is that the government shutdown is still ongoing. And during this time, we're not going to see any big updates around ETFs because we still need the government to be open in order to see these big updates happen. So while we wait for that, we still have to focus on the big picture here, which is there is a ton of demand around altcoin ETFs. It's also around the same exact time where we have yet to see alt season, and these could be the biggest catalyst for altcoins yet. Now, let's talk about a few things when it really kind of comes back to XRP ETFs. Like, for example, on October 11th, where we did get a big update. While the crypto world was collapsing last night, Ripple quietly played its master stroke. Fresh amendments for the XRP ETFs were officially filed with the SEC, including Canary Capital and 21 shares. The world falls apart and XRP begins to rise. And we have here from John Squire the big update. And yeah, there was a big update around XRP ETFs. And on top of this, when it comes back to ETFs themselves, we know that there's a ton of decisions just looming. Now, the biggest one was Grayscale, which just passed. We didn't get a big update because, again, the government shutdown is still ongoing. And we are just waiting for the moment where the government reopens, which is going to be, in my opinion, a watershed moment for these ETF decisions. Now, what's the odds that these get approved and we start to see XRP ETFs trading live? I would argue that it's probably a pretty high probability. And the reason why I say that is, number one, we know that the SEC currently has been talking about how crypto is their number one priority. They're starting to push forward around things behind crypto like tokenization efforts, DeFi efforts, and ETFs are definitely up there, I would argue. And also with the recent framework that did get approved, I do think that a lot of these ETFs are probably going to get streamlined through. Sorry to interrupt the video, but gold just made a new all-time high yesterday. And if you want to catch the waves in both the precious metals market as well as the crypto market, ITrustCapital is your best friend. They offer both crypto and gold and silver trading, but that's not it. If you also want to tap into the IRA side of ITrustCapital to make sure that you are including both crypto and precious metals in your portfolio, you could do that. And also, premium custody accounts include both as well. So if you want to go and tap into this, you guys are more than welcome to in the description down below, as well as in the comments down below, utilizing my link where you deposit $1,000 and you get a free exclusive $100 funding bonus right now. So what are you waiting for? Sign up today. And with that being said, let's dive on back into the video. Now, that also needs to see, like, the biggest thing that we're seeing right now in terms of an obstacle around ETFs isn't exactly the SEC approving them or not. It's the government shutdown. And we have over here that breaking, the US government is now on track to shut down for more than 40 days, the longest shutdown in history. This means the current shutdown is expected to last 5 times longer than average. Now, this is just a forecast from Kalshi, which is a retail betting app. So I don't exactly think that we have to wait 40 days. But, this is retail. Again, retail is betting on this. So if retail is expecting this, I think that we probably reopen sooner than 40 days. We'll have to watch, wait, and see. But, when it comes back to the ETFs, we did get an update from Nate Garalshi, which, again, this is an ETF analyst. Once government shutdown ends, spot crypto ETF floodgates open. Ironic that growing fiscal debt and usual political theater holding these up. Exactly what crypto is targeting. And yeah, it's crazy because, the number one thing about being an XRP holder in this space is that I feel like almost everything around XRP has always been delayed. The decisions around the SEC lawsuit were delayed and delayed and delayed until we finally got past it. And the same goes with ETFs now. We are waiting for the government shutdown to end in order for these spot crypto ETFs to get a decision made on them. But just like Nate is saying, yes, once the government shutdown ends, the floodgates officially open. And what better altcoin to be holding than XRP once the shutdown ends. Because again, going back to the ETF filings for XRP, there is a ton that we are waiting on getting approved. So I really do think that XRP is going to be a major altcoin to be holding once the government shutdown ends. And we also got a big update from Zafe Crypto, and this is with James Seifert. We have 150 plus digital asset ETFs waiting for approval, says James Seifert. He mentioned XRP and Solana ETFs are part of the next wave coming soon. We all saw what happened when Bitcoin and Ethereum ETFs went live. Now imagine that kind of liquidity hitting XRP. Check it out.
There's like 35 different assets that have been filed for. So I mean, some of them are leveraged, some of them are inverse. Like there's, you name it, the issuers are filing to launch these things. But as you mentioned, the government's in a shutdown, so I don't think anything new is going to come to market while the government is shut down. That's my current expectations. I guess anything could happen because technically the rules are if the SEC doesn't stop you within 75 days. We can get into the weeds there if we really want, but basically the new rules are basically if the SEC signs off on things or doesn't stop you, you can launch the product within 75 days of filing. Realistically, there's only 9-ish assets they're going to get approved before the end of 2025 that meet these new generic listing standards for like traditional spot products. But there's other ways to get around and launch, like, these pseudo products that are almost like spot or leverage or use derivatives and things like that to provide exposure in ETF wrapper. But as you said, I don't think any of those things are likely going to launch while the government is shut down.
Yeah. Do you think that these ETFs, which historically have had a significant impact on the crypto markets and have seen incredible inflows, do you think with the recent uprising of digital asset treasury companies in this publicly listed format, because now those are sort of in the spotlight and you can get exposure through these dapps, do you think we're going to see a little bit less anticipation and excitement around the ETFs when they do inevitably go live?
Yeah, I mean, so I have a few thoughts here, right? Like the long tail of assets, I mentioned there's 30 plus assets that are filed for ETFs. Some have like 20 plus filings related to them, like Solana and XRP and other Bitcoin and Ethereum products. I think the longer tail of assets are of assets like specific digital currencies. They're probably not going to get a ton of interest, right? Like just because you launch like the 47th largest digital asset in an ETF wrapper doesn't mean that this asset's going to take off because it simply has an ETF. I mean, if you look at the Bitcoin ETFs, part of the reason they did so well is because there was so much pent up demand. And when they launched, Bitcoin was roaring, right? Like it launched into early January and everyone was expecting it. A lot of money poured in. Initially, it was actually kind of a sell the news event. But long term, money kept pouring in and it was a positive thing for the space. Ethereum is the opposite. For the first 5 months of its launch, they had net outflows for Ethereum ETFs because, market had dumped. It was in the summer. There wasn't a lot of demand. It came too quickly after the Bitcoin ETF launch. The narratives weren't clear. But then Trump got elected and it took off. And it's just another avenue for people to play the space, particularly TradFi types of people. So I think the same thing could happen for these other assets. So I think things like Solana and XRP, we know there's pent up demand there.
Yeah, I mean, listen, when we think about altcoin ETFs, the number one thing that I've always said when it comes to these altcoin ETFs is that it's all pressure behind the altcoin demand, right? Like, for an example, XRP has already showed signs of massive amounts of demand for the altcoin this year. And I feel like that's only growing right now. And with ETFs, we kind of have demand hitting from all angles. We have, number one, demand from just crypto holders buying it, traders as well trading it. But then outside of that, we have Wall Street players going live with an ETF that is going to bring their clients into, holding XRP. It's the third largest crypto asset. It's been a crypto asset that's always been sought after in the space as well. It's always been viewed as a very safe investment outside of like Bitcoin and Ethereum. And I also feel like when it comes to Wall Street jumping on board the ETF train, I feel like we're going to see a lot of demand around XRP grow even outside of just the typical crypto environment. So I feel like, yeah, this is going to create an immense amount of focus for altcoins, and XRP is right at the forefront because we have so much just waiting for approval. And of course, it's the typical XRP fashion that we have a roadblock that's kind of just delaying this. But we've already seen what happened with Bitcoin and Ethereum ETFs. And I really do think that XRP could see that same amount of demand, but on a, probably a smaller scale. But we never know, right? Anything can happen. It could be on a much larger scale. We just don't know yet. Now, also in terms of ETFs, we got from Nate, Charles Schwab, CEO on crypto. It's a topic that's of high engagement. Schwab clients own 20% of all crypto exchange traded products. Visits to Schwab crypto site 90% in the last year. Schwab operates one of the largest brokerages in the US. I hope that you were paying attention. Check it out.
In crypto, we do offer crypto ETFs, Bitcoin futures, closed-end funds. In fact, our clients own 20% of all the crypto exchange-traded products in our country. So they've been very active. We've seen visits to our crypto site go up 90% in the last year. It's a topic that's of high engagement.
And yeah, listen, when we are hearing these stats come out from a name like Charles Schwab, it goes to show you just how much demand is there for crypto, which is also why, like I said, with XRP ETFs, I really do think that once we see those get the green light, we are going to witness those ETFs see significant inflows. I think that the demand will skyrocket for XRP. And it's not just in crypto itself, right? Like I said, it's outside of this typical ecosystem that we see. And I feel like we're kind of starting to see the environment around crypto itself also change in a big way. We've talked about this on multiple occasions, how, you know, the roles around crypto are now becoming a reality. We're starting to see that hostility ease. And, you know, with that, we're definitely looking at those utility-based projects that could see the benefit from that, which of course, yes, XRP is at the top of that list. Now, on top of that, you know, when it comes back to the whole idea of, all right, well, how much demand is there for XRP? I would argue that there's a ton of demand. We also just got an announcement that Ripple is, you know, raising $1 billion to accumulate more XRP at the same exact time that there's a ton of treasury companies in line for XRP treasury operations. And also, you know, when it comes back to XRP itself, we know that XRP has performed very well already in the last year. And one thing that I'm looking at now is we kind of go back to the last October, right? Like we are almost through the month of October already. If we go back to 2024, XRP sold off in October as well. And in fact, it was in a significant downtrend until we retested major support and then we went crazy yet again. If we are looking at XRP right now, again, we are in a major downtrend. We just retested major demand on this chart and also major support levels as well. The question is, do we repeat that same significant push that we recently had? If we do, XRP can reach $10 easily. What could be the major catalyst behind that? Well, it could be the government shutdown ending and the ETF floodgates officially opening for XRP. There is a significant amount of ETFs just waiting on the sidelines. At the same exact time that I feel like the environment around XRP is becoming extremely bullish, with Ripple acquiring more companies to support their internal operations, which does include XRP and the XRPL. And then also, you know, now raising $1 billion to buy XRP for a treasury operation. I mean, this is extremely bullish to see. And just going back to that video from James, right? You know, he's 100% correct on the fact that, number one, ETFs have been seeing significant inflows. There's been a lot of demand around ETFs already for Bitcoin and Ethereum. Just imagine what happens around these altcoin ETFs. I really do think that these altcoin ETFs are going to change the dynamic around the market. I think that it's going to lead to alt season. I think that's going to be a huge catalyst for altcoins. And this at a time where a lot of these altcoins are selling off into significant demand zones, and also their RSIs are hitting extremely oversold levels, especially going all the way back to July of 2024, mind you. And when it comes back to that, I really do think that XRP is at that point where, you know, we could be pretty confident in the fact that we should be close to the bottom here on XRP. And with these catalysts just awaiting the government reopening, once we see that government, you know, shutdown end, I do think that a lot of these altcoin charts are destined for significant growth, and XRP is at the forefront of that. So with that being said, I hope that you guys enjoyed this video. If you guys do, definitely leave a like, subscribe, turn notifications on because more free content. You guys are more than welcome to follow me on Twitter and join the free Discord in the description below. And with that being said, guys, it's been Nick. Thanks for watching. Peace out.